Number 10. The Isles Gale. The Isles Gale is not a bad map by any stretch of the imagination. However, at the same time, it is extremely overcrowded with guards. And even though the map is designed in a way for you to be able to make your way across it and for you to be able to maneuver it, because of the oversaturation of guards and people all over it, it is very difficult to do so, at least in suit only. On top of that, both targets are very tricky to get, especially Zoe Washington, as she has a very difficult loop to be able to get a hold of. She's a target that's very difficult to isolate and take out, and even after you're able to take her out, Sophia Washington is not exactly easy herself. Both targets are just very sort of strangely made, and because of that, the map, it does drag it down. Number 9. Santa Fortuna. Santa Fortuna, although having 3 targets, they are all very isolatable. They present a variety of different ways you can take them down. However, at the same time, it is a map that is very limited when it comes to routing. You're always going to be on the same route over and over again, even if the targets do give different assassination options when you get there, and a variety of exits close by. However, there is no arguing the fact that the map is extremely restricted when it comes to freedom of approach, especially when it comes to the mansion area, where your only option are the right side bathrooms. The mansion area is very restrictive and does not allow for much freedom of approach, forcing you to do the same route over and over again, which is not ideal when it comes to replayability. Number 8. Whittleton Creek. Although my personal favorite map in the entire Hitman franchise, I can't deny that Whittleton Creek has some glaring issues that prevent it from being one of the best. Nolan Cassidy is a very difficult, almost impossible to isolate target. However, he is not difficult to take down, as there are very easy opportunities for accident kills you can use, even with default loadout. Janus, on the other hand, is a great target, allowing for many different assassinations. The map does allow you a great freedom of approach when it comes to your targets. However, having to pick up the clues every single time can become very annoying for most players, which is ultimately why I can't give it any higher place than this, as much as I would want to. Number 7. Marrakesh. Marrakesh's biggest weakness is the fact that freedom of approach is almost non-existent, at least when it comes to the main mission. You're always going to do the same route over and over again because that's the only way it can be done. Both the consulate building as well as the school area are extremely restricted, giving you only one way to get in and get out. However, once you get there, you are capable of isolating your targets and performing a different variety of kills. And just like House Built on Sand shows, the map does have potential to be great. However, when it comes to the main mission, the extremely restricted buildings do drag the map down quite a bit, and ultimately, I cannot give the map any better score than this. It's just far too restricted when it comes to freedom of approach. Number 6. Mendoza. Mendoza suffers from only 2 issues, however they're extremely problematic. Tamara Vidal is one of the worst targets ever brought to Hitman. She's almost impossible to isolate, and even with a different variety of weapons and items, there is very few ways you can take her down. She also takes a very long time to get into those positions, leaving you to just wait around for her, which is never that fun. The second issue, which is even more bizarre, is that Mendoza has no safe exits for suit only, other than Diana, who can take anywhere from 2 to 3 minutes sometimes to make her way onto the dance floor. She's also not available in elusive targets and featured contracts, which forces you to trespass and possibly screw up all your hard work just because they refuse to give us a suit-only exit. There is the shrine with the Requiem suit, but not everybody is going to have that suit, and the shrine is still in a trespassing locations, and you can still get caught there. The design choices for this map are just idiotic, and I can't help but put it on this list until some of those issues are addressed, if they ever are. Number 5. The ICA facility. This is the point of no return. From here the maps go from okay and not that bad to absolute dumpster fires that are impossible to fix. The ICA facility itself is not bad in any way, but it is a tutorial mission, so you will not be willing to replay it over and over again. It's not bad for what it is, but I can't put it any higher. That being said, this is the middle ground. This is the last mission or the last map that's going to be decent. From here on out, all the rest of these maps are just absolutely horrific. Number 4, Colorado. Talk about dumpster fires. A lot of people always expect Colorado to be the absolute worst map. However, I have to disagree. Although a very restricted location with 4 targets, all of them can be isolated and dealt with, suit only, no problem. Every single target has multiple ways it can be assassinated, suit only, in multiple different locations. Sean and Maya, for example, can be peekabooed and killed in the shed near the garage area. Or you can kill Sean in the house right next to the clock. You can also drop a haystack on Maya. Ezra Burr can be taken down in the basement, as well as the shed, and also blown up with a grass mower. Penelope doesn't have quite so many options other than the house, but at least you can kill her both coming in and coming out. So you do have different ways to take those targets out, suit only. However, the map does not allow for that much freedom of approach. You are, for the most part, going to be doing the same route over and over again, and it is very, very restricted. Also, if you miss any of their loops, it can take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes for them to come back to their original location, because the map is just that restricted. I mean, you're not going to be able to follow them around and try to come up with a different way to take them out. You really have only a few locations that you can do something, and if you miss them, well, you're fucked. Number 3, Bangkok. Talk about restrictions, my goodness. Ken Morgan is not just difficult to isolate, he is impossible to isolate. He's the only target from the entire franchise that is completely impossible to isolate. There is nothing you can do, suit only, to come even close to isolating this guy. Even if you put emetic poison into his food, he will still ignore the toilets and make his way into a trash can, with all people around him. If you're doing this suit only, default loadout, the only way to take him down is by dropping a chandelier on his head, and that's about it. There's nothing else you can do. Jordan Cross, on the other hand, is not much better. He can only be isolated in the recording booth, or peekabooed into the room right next to it. But still, you have to stand still and wait for minutes for him to make his way downstairs. Both targets are awful, but this time I can't even give props to the map because the map just sucks. It is one of the most limited maps in the series. Your freedom of approach is non-existent. There is only one way to get from point A to point B, and that's it. It is an awful map in every way. It has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Number 2, Carpathian Mountains. For a final map of the series, it's as limited as can be. It's not a difficult map once you get the gist of it. The guards are on very simple loops that are easy to get around. However, it has almost no replayability since you're practically doing the exact same thing over and over and over again until you get to the constant. I can't say that it was that much fun to play either, but even if you enjoyed it, even if you had fun playing it the first time, it's not a map you're going to be coming back to too often because it will get really boring really quickly. Number 1, Haven Island. This map is the most glitched, broken, buggy, unresponsive piece of garbage ever laid on the Hitman community. The mansion area of this map is filled from top to bottom with see-through walls, where its guards can spot bodies sometimes through multiple walls and even entire rooms. The room with the jacuzzi is completely see-through for NPCs when there is a body present. They can see it through the room entirely, even if the body is on the balcony and they haven't even entered the room yet. But even outside of the mansion area, if you're choking someone out in the shark hut, even with no one around, you can still be spotted by a guard, and when you look around, there's no one there, only for then 30 seconds later to have a guard from the other end of the map run after you. They can see you perform illegal actions from miles away on this map. NPCs are beyond broken, as sometimes things you do on one side of the map can panic a bunch of NPCs on the other. This map was clearly rushed and left unfinished because IO ran out of time. But even if the map functioned well, which it doesn't, the targets are horrific. All of them have to be cheesed somehow to be eliminated. They are all almost impossible to isolate suit-only, and that mansion area is even worse than the one in Santa Fortuna. And how you make a mansion area worse than Santa Fortuna, I will never know. This map doesn't give you any real ways to take down the targets. It's all up to you to cheese them into something, like getting Vetrova to panic so you can shoot her in the leg and have her fall into the water, or blow up Steven with a propane flask. There is no natural way to deal with any of these targets. From top to bottom, this map just freaking sucks. From top to bottom, all these targets just freaking suck. It has zero redeeming qualities. Maybe if the whole mansion area didn't exist, it would be better to deal with, but as it stands right now, this is the absolute undisputed worst map in the history of Hitman. Or so is my opinion. Do let me know what is yours. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree? What is your top 10 list? Make sure to let me know in the comments below. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you would like to support me and see more content from me in the future, and thank you very much for watching.